Welcome to The Golden Blend. I'm your host, Samantha Rivera, where we talk about all things health and wellness. This morning, I have our special guest, Nancy Nelson, writer and published author of a 3-book series, Blue River Apple. Welcome, Nancy.
Thanks, I'm so
We got a
glad to
cheers
be
to
here.
that.
Cheers to that.
So I gotta know, how did you come up with the title, Blue River Apple, and tell me a little bit about your personal journey?
Okay, I can do that. Blue River Apple. In 2013, I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And I never thought that I would get that. My dad passed in 2002 from Alzheimer's complications. And you know, when you're going fast and furious, you never think it's going to hit you. When you're younger, you just don't think it is. And so all of a sudden, when I got the diagnosis, all of a sudden, words were just plummeting to me from someplace above. And they were just, and I would write them down. And finally, you know, I started tweaking them a little bit, and I thought, wow. And when I first showed the poetry, which it's called, I really can't think of myself as a poet, but I'm called that, and so I'm going with it.
Right.
But one thing led to another, and so it's 3 books. It's a chronicle of what I've gone through, and the verses are short, the words are poignant. It's how I was feeling in the time. So what you read in the first book is a little bit different than how you read in the second and the third book. And we grow, we don't stay the same. And so it just sort of shows how someone that has been diagnosed with dementia, how they work through, how I worked through. We're all different and no one's the same.
Right.
So it's how I worked through my diagnosis. And I've never said I have Alzheimer's. I say I have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And then in 2018, I was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. So everyone says, wow, that's great. Well, it is, but nothing changed here. And I'm the same.
Right.
So I do the same crazy blips. So anyway, that's how Blue River Apple was. You know, when you go, it's a process of elimination to get diagnosed, and especially 8 years ago. And so they give you words that they want you to remember. So when you first come in, they say, I'm going to give you these 3 or 5 words, and I'm going to ask you what they were. And I could remember one or two of the words. And so they deduct. So it's on a point system, and they deduct the things that you can't remember. I couldn't draw a clock, as a for instance. I don't know how many that deducted, but it deducted from the number of 30. So anyway, and plus all of the other tests that I had. So it's just been a way for me to gauge for myself. And these words are words that help. It's like journaling.
Yes.
How many people journal?
Right.
We really do have an inner intelligence within us.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah. So
It's very cathartic.
it is. So Blue River Apple were those 3 words.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes, thank you.
And I think that your message of hope is so needed. Your breath of fresh air for people that are going through, just say, an early diagnosis, or those that are navigating the stages where they're at in the process.
Right.
You're also a voice for family members.
Right.
You know, trying to figure out where the resources are. How do they better care for their loved ones? So ultimately, you're out there spreading messages of hope, but you're also educating. And
I have found that to be
amazing.
true.
Yeah.
And I do think that's why I'm doing as well as I'm doing.
Yes.
Is because I have turned this thing into not Nancy, but turned it into you. And you know, I'm not the catch-all. I'm not the everything. But I have been walking through the uncharted waters of dementia, and therefore I do have my story, which may give you some insight into what you're going through, or what your loved one's going through. And so what do we learn from that? We learn that early diagnosis is really, really important, because it was an early diagnosis for me. And I took that and changed it into something, not just sitting in it, but saying, hey, we can do something about that. And now we know that it's all about what can I do for myself? Becoming a partner in your own health, not just sitting back and
Right.
holding your hand out.
Right.
We got to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely,
We gotta do the work.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I found this interesting.
Okay.
I actually found that you did an article with the Review Journal,
I
and
was so fortunate.
it was a beautiful article,
Thank
by the
you.
way. And I have you quoted as saying, "He tried to hand me a prescription. I said too soon, too early. He left. Jennifer and I looked at each other. We walked out in a daze, leaving the office. We got into the car and we hugged one another and cried. Jennifer and I looked at each other thinking, wow." It was a quiet ride home. I didn't even know what to say. I had brought her here thinking we were going to say no. So, Nancy, take me back to that
You know,
moment.
that brings just a whole
Mhm.
thing for me. That just brings back, wow, that is what happened.
Take me back and share with me how it's transformed your life.
It has
Okay.
transformed my life. I say to
Yeah.
people, I'm embarrassed to say, wow, it was a good thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
Not that I was this horrible, bad person before, but I certainly am a different person today. And when you make your life, I think, let me talk about me. When I've made my life about you, it's so much more dynamic in all fashions. And it's just carried me right through whatever I'm going through. Do I always smile and, beam? Not always, but more often than not.
Mm.
And I do think, and we all know that as you walk through the dementia changes, that you're not always happy, gay, and delightful.
Of course.
I think, though, when you focus on someone else, what can I do for you? And you know that, Samantha. You operate from that standpoint. You know what I'm saying.
Yes.
It just
yes.
changes everything.
Very much.
So it isn't so much about me. It is about, gosh, how can we help people that don't know what to do? Because
And you're helping others and you're also healing yourself.
You are.
So it's kind of working
Yeah.
in unison together.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Even
Definitely.
even though you think, I first thought, well, I'm going to help others.
Right.
I never realized how much it was going to put me forward.
Right. And help you.
And thank you for mentioning that article.
Of course.
The journalist was wonderful. He was such a great guy.
Well written. Just
Well
love
written.
the article.
Yes.
Everything that what you talked
Yes.
about, just your journey, and then those real private moments. And I think that's important to touch on because again, it is such a private time in your life.
It is.
And again, it almost feels like you can be going through a crisis, and like, how do you navigate through this crisis?
Mhm.
You know, and finding kind of the tools to come out from the dark and
Yeah.
say, I'm going to use this to
benefit.
To benefit. I'm
To
going use
benefit, it benefits me, no doubt.
Yes.
It benefits you and you and you. People go, somebody walk up to me in the restroom not very long ago and say, aren't you? And I said, yes, I am. But
You can meet him anywhere.
You can meet him anywhere, and it's okay.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Well, I have a few questions to ask you.
Okay,
From
fire away.
some of our audience members had a couple questions. Number one was, I want to express myself, but I can't find the right words. And they've been recently diagnosed.
That's true. We just really don't know what to say. We don't know whether to step forward, step backward, hide our face, right? We don't. Early diagnosis has been so important. I can't say it enough. At early detection, it's where it's at. If you're fearful, I get it, but you got to turn around and face the fear. Because when you do that, suddenly the fear isn't so great, right?
Right.
So I would say the early detection and also support groups. So if you have a feeling that you have a problem, right? And it's a problem that we can work through. I'm just saying we can work through. I'm just ordinary. I'm just an ordinary person. And by finding out early, and heck, a lot of times they say you don't have anything. Now, how great would that be?
Yes.
I mean,
Right.
I went to Florida.
Sometimes we go in thinking the worst.
Yes.
We have it. We
have
have it. And then we get
created the worst.
exactly to find out.
To find out,
There's
no, we
nothing.
don't have it, and suddenly we sit there and really disappointed. Right?
Right. Right.
I wasn't disappointed in that way. I was disappointed that they kept saying yes, and I went to 4. So I would say, don't be afraid of it and just embrace it.
Yes.
Embrace
Okay.
it. And I learned, and it's not easy to do this, but I learned that I can say, I'm sorry. How many times have I checked in with you to make sure that I would be here on time? Because a couple weeks ago, I missed a really important Zoom meeting, really important. And I cringe at how many people I disappointed in that process. But once it happens, I can't do anything but pick up the phone and say, wow, I don't know where I was, but I wasn't there. And I'm sorry. So I think if you can, I've also learned to laugh at myself.
Laughter, yes. Laughter's medicine.
Everything.
It
I mean,
is.
really.
Yes.
If you can laugh at the little things that you do that you never used to do. I mean, people used to come to me and ask me really pertinent questions, and I was the go-to.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. Sometimes I can't
But
even
you
get
can
the
laugh
right
about
one.
it. Right.
But if I don't laugh, I'm crying. So
Yeah,
I'm going to laugh.
Sure.
So I just think we have to find a lightheartedness
Okay.
in where we are, because we are where we are.
Right.
Now,
That's important.
that is
To
important.
not push it away, but to own what's going on.
To-
Right. To
Well, I wouldn't use the word own.
Okay.
I would use the word dance with it.
I like
don't
that
think
better.
we have to own it, because if we own it, then we're eating it and consuming it. What we want to do is we want to be able to be genuine enough to say, I screwed up, I'm sorry, or I can't remember your name. Now I started making up excuses why I wasn't where I was supposed to be. Boy, that isn't who Nancy used to be. But that was who I was then.
Right.
And now I'm back to saying, hey, I'm really sorry. I don't remember your name. Can you help me out? And I'm real quick to say I've been diagnosed.
Yeah.
There's no
There shouldn't be any
shame in that.
Right.
There's
shame
no shame
behind it.
So in my books, I go into all of this stuff saying, hey, you know what? It's okay.
It is.
It's where I was in the minute. I'm not in that place right now. I make a lot of mistakes, though. I am so human.
Yes. Don't we all, though?
Did
I mean,
I
you're
answer
very
the
hard on
question?
yourself. Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to piggyback off of what you were saying is dance with it.
Mhm.
Because the next question I have from another viewer is, it's embarrassing, so I try to mask my forgetfulness.
Mhm.
And you said, no, own
We
it.
own it. At first,
Well,
I
own it
did
to that degree.
Yes.
I mean,
You know what? I think we all want pieces of who we are to remain who we are, right?
correct.
It doesn't happen that way, though.
Mm.
It doesn't happen that way.
Mm.
So, I think we can make ourselves better by how we eat, what we think,
Exactly.
attitude, and not owning it. Because I just believe that if we become a partner in our own health, and lifestyle matters, how you
Definitely.
eat, what you drink, all that stuff matters. So if we're helping ourselves as best we can, if we're socially active, if we get out in public, because I say yes to everything, and then after a while I think, oh God, I don't really want to do that. Gosh, I wish I didn't have to go. And then I say,
Once you get
pull
out there.
up those big girl pants.
Yes.
Get those panties on,
Right.
girl, and
Get
out the
out.
door.
Once you're there, you're like the life of the party.
Well, I come home and I think, well, I am so glad I went.
Yes. Yes. It's just putting yourself out there.
It's putting yourself,
Not hiding away.
right? You can't hide.
Can't hide.
Because you can't hide from yourself. You got to become friends with your new self.
Exactly. Exactly. You said it. One more question. As a family member, where can I go for support? I mean, with all the resources we have, I meet families all the time
Sure.
working in the senior living industry that come to me and say, I don't know where to go. And you would think, well, we have this, but they are still in a like in a bubble.
In a bubble.
Still don't know where
Well,
to
they
go.
want to know, but they don't really want to know. Right?
There
And
you
if
go.
I can't
Could
find
be-
it,
Right, if I can't find it, then I don't really need to.
excuse,
To
it's a
face
good, it's a
it.
good excuse. The Alzheimer's Association here, Desert Southwest chapter is here. They answer questions and they get you hooked up. Cleveland Clinic, Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health is here.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
wonderful. They're here to help.
Yes.
Place a call.
Mm. Any support groups?
Oh, thank you for mentioning support groups. I started really early going to a support group because a friend of mine said, my dad's been diagnosed. Would you come to a caregiver support group? And I said, yes, I would love to learn more about what happened to Dad. Because Dad sits right here on my shoulder because he didn't speak out. He couldn't speak out. So his mouthy daughter is talking all the time. So Dad probably is going
Dad's
ooh
right
a little bit, but he's right here on my shoulder.
Right.
Yeah. So support groups.
Yes.
That is one of the best things I did for myself. I went to a caregiver support group to support her, and I was there 2 years when I got my diagnosis. And now I facilitate groups. There's a Dementia Conversations that is put on by Dementia Friendly Nevada and through Cleveland Clinic. And you can, here locally, and you can come every Friday to a meeting, Dementia Conversations with Nancy and Kat. You can talk or not talk.
Right. And
You
that
can
was my
ask a
next question
question
is,
or not.
do you have to talk? A lot of people
You
think,
don't-
oh
you
gosh, I don't want to share
Right,
anything.
you don't even have to, on the Zoom call, you don't even have to hit the video button.
You don't even
Just
have
listen.
to, you could just be listening,
Just
right?
listen, and
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's so easy, and yet it's so important.
Do you have time after the support group to chat individually?
We don't, but we're really,
Okay.
we're available.
Okay.
And I'm always available. You can find me anywhere.
Go find you.
An old RJ article. I wish I could think of the journalist's name because I just loved him. He was just so nice. Yeah. So anyway.
I love your energy, by the way,
Thank
Nancy.
you.
I do. I love your energy. You just sparkle everywhere.
That's good. That's what we need.
Mhm.
We need a little sparkle. There, we don't have to be sad
Right.
and morose and just can't hardly move out of the chair. Do I know what that feels like? I do. Certainly not as much as some.
Mhm.
But gosh, guys, do you know, there's just so many reasons to bring yourself up out of the chair, right? Instead of just going down.
Wilting away.
Now, there is a disconnect for me. I don't know what it is, but
Right.
there's a disconnect that says, Nancy, you can see it, you can talk about it, you can love, you can help.
Mm.
I'm good.
That was actually really, yeah.
So,
Very
so I think we can hit that place,
Mhm.
and then we know, hey, it's much better over here being crazy and wonky.
Yeah, sometimes it's better being in that place. I
I
can agree with that. I can definitely agree. My next question for you is for people out there that feel lost on their journey, what words would you offer them?
Hope.
Yeah.
Hope, resilience. You know, we never get any place in life if we're knocked down and we don't get back up, right?
Right.
I think, you know, there's a movie, the Grounding movie, and based on science, this says that you can walk in your lawn, on grass or on dirt, get away from the pavement and that kind of thing. And it actually adjusts your inner self into a feeling of a calmer feeling. I believe that.
Yes.
You can
I do too.
hug a tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know
What?
what?
Hug a tree, step on the grass with bare feet.
And suddenly the energy from that tree or that
Mhm.
bush or that flower comes to you. I know that's crazy. It's
Mm.
okay.
No.
I don't mind crazy.
I can imagine it, Nancy, in the early mornings. You go out, you're hugging your tree, you're feeling your feet on the.
I am.
But you know what? It's like I said, you can inspire others.
I will.
Pretty soon the whole neighborhood will be going
Join
out.
crazy. It's okay.
It is okay. So yes, crazy is good. Having hope through all of this. Again, like you
Right.
were talking about.
Right.
Coming out of your shell. all those things matter.
They do.
Finding the resources and being able to come into, again, getting the support and not shying away from it,
Right.
because we're better with, what does it say? Two is better than one, right? Having somebody.
Yes, you know, and I admit that I'm fortunate, you know, when I go on book things, I have a grandchild with me most often, and so I'm lucky in that way. I'm blessed. Somebody
Yes.
keeps saying, don't say lucky, say blessed.
Blessed.
Well, okay, I am blessed. And you may not have that, and therefore then you have to seek that someplace else. And another thing, you know, your family members don't want you to have what you have. You know, Jennifer and I were going
True.
into that doctor's office. My oldest daughter worked. She probably said, phew. So Jennifer, I dragged Jennifer along as a second pair of eyes and ears. And then we have places in addition to go. Alzheimer's Association,
Yes, we
Cleveland
have
Clinic,
these
Blue
resources.
Ruvel
Yes.
Center for Brain Health. Friends, a friend that will listen, because
Right.
a lot of times family members say, oh, my daughter, as I started to say, says, Mom, you're 70 years old back then. You're 70 years old. She says, you're expected to forget. No,
a misconception there.
Yeah. It's not always what you think, so check it out, because they
Yes.
might come back and say, no, you don't
Right.
have that, you have X. Well, you know, but you do want to check it out.
Yes.
And so family members aren't always on our side, you know, because they
Very
don't
true.
really see and they
Very
don't
true.
want to see.
You said it. They see it, but they don't want to see
Right,
it.
you see
and
that,
I,
right?
I see it where, because again, I work in a senior living, and sometimes, you know, most of the times I get family members who are noticing these signs, but they are excusing a lot of the
Oh, sure.
signals.
After
Well, Mom,
all,
this
you
is
are
this,
older.
this, you're older, you forgot, it's okay. But then we find out they actually come back to us a few months later, it's gotten worse.
Yes.
And they still don't have the diagnosis. Either Mom is hoarding, or she's, you know, again, she's forgetting faces
Right.
or names, and she's not caring for herself. All that's changing. And they're still, again, not wanting to. And there's no blame there, but it's not wanting to.
Well, they're
to-
worried.
Right,
They care.
right.
I mean, I think so. The support groups help you understand, and especially I've been.
They
lucky
give you
enough
the
to see-
tools
They
that
give
you
you
need.
they fill that toolbox, and they give you the tools to be able to discern where you are. If you can, you might not be able to anymore. And hey, there is no shame in any of that. It's where we are in the moment.
What are some of the signs? So for people watching, because I get the forgetfulness can happen, and that does not mean that you have
No.
Alzheimer's.
No.
What are some signs that you should start looking for?
Well, you know, what I found in myself was that I couldn't connect the streets. Now I keep saying I can drive a car, but I can't connect the streets. So I would have to pull over to the side of the road and say, roads and streets that I have driven on for 55 years here in Las Vegas. So they were not unfamiliar to me, but I couldn't put where they were going. And so I would pull over, and I do something very physical. I reach up. Come on, focus, for Pete's sake. You know where you are. You know where
You're reaching for it, but it's not making.
right. And pretty soon it comes to me. Now you do get to a point where it doesn't come to you. That's where you are. So, you know, so we do, it is a disease you can't keep to yourself forever. But support groups help you understand what the caregiver expects, what you can expect of yourself. So forgetfulness does play a key. I would see somebody and work with somebody one day, and the next day I wouldn't remember them. Wouldn't remember their faces. Certainly wouldn't remember their names. And when you're in a sales job, that's a killer. That's a killer.
I remember you speaking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, yes, the not taking care of yourself, the wandering maybe,
Right,
if you.
When is the right time to get?
That's why early detection.
Early detection. Again, early detection. Where do you go?
Where
Where
do
does somebody go? Do they
What?
set it up with their doctor?
Yes.
Do they? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And you might have one that you've gone to for a long time. You know,
And you can request it.
picking your doctor is really important. If you have a doctor that you don't like, you need to change it. I say that.
Yeah.
Because, and we don't know that. I came from a household where my mother was trained as a nurse, and she idolized doctors. Not so much here. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I have found wonderful doctors.
Yeah.
When you talk to people, communication is the absolute paramount must. You must talk.
It's so hard.
It
You know,
is.
when they ask you a question and you really don't want to give that honest answer.
Yes, the hair comes up on the back of your neck. You start to prune.
And then you say, yeah, no, I'm great.
I'm great.
Are you having any signs, Miss So-and-so?
Oh,
No.
I don't think so. I just think, I'm
Yeah.
70. What do you expect when you're 70? Right?
But
Right.
then the test comes out.
And says
Mhm.
yes. And then you say, I want another opinion. And then I went to an alternative doctor. And then I went to an Ayurvedic practitioner. I mean, I
You
knew
wanted to
that
be
guy was
sure.
going to say, you don't got nothing. Do this. But so I just think you have to be adventuresome. You become the child, after a while. And we have to be okay with all that.
Sure.
Right?
And I want to go back to facing it too. I mean, Alzheimer's. I'm just doing my research. Is outdoing heart disease. And a lot of people aren't aware. They think it's heart disease is the number one, but it's actually Alzheimer's.
It
and
is.
I call it the silver tsunami that's coming,
Yeah.
right? This wave.
Yes.
And we have to be working together, I think, in our communities. We have to be talking about this.
We do have to. We do. We have to get out there and say, oh
Yes.
gosh, you know what I did today?
Yeah.
I mean, so early detection, so
Working with your diet.
working with your diet, being socially active, making mistakes and laughing at yourself.
Hugging a tree. Nancy.
Hugging a tree. Learn to laugh at yourself
Yes.
because we really, when all is said and done, who are we? I'm just Nancy. I'm nobody special.
Mhm.
And it's okay if we make mistakes.
Yes.
It
Very
is
true.
okay.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have support within your own house, how about your friend base? If you don't have a friend base, how about one of the organizations that help you?
Right.
What about a neighbor?
Definitely. I have two more questions for
Sure.
you. If you were to reconnect, I think this is a good one for you, Nancy. If you
Okay.
were to reconnect with your older self when you first got your diagnosis, what would you tell her right now?
What would have made it easier for me, I think, is to know that it's okay to make mistakes. I think I would say, lighten up, girl. Lighten up. I would never have said anything like, pull up your big girl panties. I would never have said that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
be genuine, be authentic. It's okay.
I feel like in some sense it's pushed you in a lot of ways. It's helped you grow. Having this diagnosis has blossomed you
I
into
know, it
this
makes
writer and this podcast, and
I
you
know.
got everything
I know.
going for you.
I know.
It's amazing.
Everybody should have the diagnosis.
Right. Go get a diagnosis.
Don't be afraid to go get
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Jump
good.
in. I mean,
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I just think that, again, from something that was such a dark point in your life turned into this illuminated.
it does.
You
It
know,
has. It has. And that's not to
compass.
make fun of it, and that's not to
No,
say
no,
that
no.
it turns out that way for everyone, because it doesn't. We are all on such a different pathway, which
Yeah.
is true.
It is.
We're
it is.
all what we've done in the past and what we're supposed to do. I believe this was
Sure.
something I was supposed to do. By thinking that and by following that, it has changed me to know that everyone is on a different path. It's different for everyone. I'm not playing down people that are looking at us today and saying, she's crazy. I can't do what she's saying. I get that.
Mhm.
You know that. You've seen people
Yeah.
to take the leap, walk in those uncharted waters, because out there,
Yes.
And for me, it has been okay. Now, am I always this up? No, not always. I'm just saying.
She's like, but I got my coffee here this morning.
Yeah.
Coffee helps.
Samantha had it waiting for me. All you gotta do is talk online with Samantha.
I gotta get
She'll
Nancy
bring
coffee.
you some coffee.
Coffee right to your door. Coffee in the studio.
That's right.
I love it.
That's right.
Well, here's my last quote that I pulled up from your website. It said, and I love this. It says, "I don't say I have Alzheimer's. I say I have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I'm not owning it. I'm gonna beat it."
Yes.
I just love that
I
fire in you.
I know.
I'm gonna beat it.
I know.
Yes.
I say to James Fitzpatrick at the association, the Alzheimer's Association, said, I want to carry one. So would you give me one? I mean, I really want to carry one because they have a white flower, and that represents someone who has beat it, someone who has
I never
come
knew
on
that.
the other side. So whatever it takes for you to feel better, whether it's someone that's light and airy, turn on music, dance to music. You don't have to have anybody with you.
Right.
It just sways.
It makes you feel good.
Yes.
It does.
I do classical stretch, Miranda Esmond White, 5:30 a.m. every morning. Join me.
Oh, I love
And
it.
we stretch and we move and we move.
I've
And
gotta
she
do that.
says 23 minutes and a half hour that devoted to stretching. And makes my
It starts
morning
your day.
as I go out to walk on the grass and all of that. So you can find your sweet spot that says,
Yes.
I
It's
can.
okay to have a little piece of candy once in a while, right? You said eat healthy, but
Oh,
hey, indulge once in a while.
Yeah, I am so human.
You don't have to tell me a
And
guilty
be
pleasure.
that ice cream. Oh, that cake? Oh, well, I don't think you're going to like that one, so I'm not going to splurge on that one. But get me, what is the one that I just love that's
Oh,
so
gosh.
moist? It's up here on
Okay,
this
I'm
side of
hungry
town.
now already.
Anyway,
Yeah, but indulge in life, indulge in, again, treating yourself,
Yes.
like you said.
Yes.
And like you said, I love it. Dance with it.
Yeah.
Dance with it.
Yeah.
So again, you talked about keeping active, maintaining that positive mindset.
Mhm.
And again, what can seem like a dark, again, cloud over
Right,
you.
right.
Again, using all those resources that you just
Right,
provided us
right.
to, again, everyone's different.
Yes.
Everyone's going to take it a different way.
Yes.
But I think, again, what you shared with all of us is at the end of the day, the silver lining is hope.
The silver lining
There's
is
hope.
hope. And I will tell you, a girlfriend and I are starting a business. And so it is for me, someone who has been diagnosed with dementia, I'm going to be a new entrepreneur.
What else can't you do, Nancy?
Right. And you know, who would have said that?
Yeah.
Who would have thought
I would
that?
have, right.
I mean, early on it was the books and writing and whatever. And now it's actually opening a business.
Yeah.
We are going to
What is the name
dare
again
to do
of the business?
Dangle and Dot.
Dangle and Dot.
And guess what? Which one I am? I'm the Dangle. I was going to wear a dot today, and I thought, no, I'll wear
I
two
love that.
dangles.
Dangle and Dot.
Dangle and Dot.
Tell me what that means. So Dangle and Dot.
Dangle and Dot means it's okay to be a little wonky.
Love it. Okay.
I'm walking through
Mhm.
dementia. And the dot is the solid one, the caregiver, the one that takes care. And watch for us because we're coming out. Yes.
I love
And
it.
who would have thought that someone diagnosed would be able to be at this point in initiating real hope for
Yes.
people, real ideas about how you can do it differently, because we want to be able to employ people to show that, yes, I can't do it the way I did it
But
many years ago, but I can do it this way, and I feel good about that. And that's what catapults me into the next thing.
I love it. I love your words of just inspiration.
It just,
It
I mean,
speaks volumes.
and you know what? It starts here.
Yeah.
It starts here, and you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Just like I get up and do the exercises
Right.
every single morning, and I go out and walk in that yard and
Yes.
get that grounding,
Yes.
right? Do I always feel that way or that I want to do it? No, but can I do it?
Yes.
Samantha, we all can do it.
It's about celebrating. Oftentimes we don't do this, and I think we need to do this more, is celebrating our progress.
Yes.
A lot of times we look at what we haven't done or we couldn't do this, but celebrate each step.
Right.
Celebrate the progress that
You
you're
have to
making.
every day
No matter
take
what.
it. Gratitude. Where are you today? What is working today? Let's don't
Exactly.
magnify what we can't do, because we can spend hours on that. Let's figure out what we can do. Can I read one poem? Do we have time?
Absolutely, I would love it.
The poem that I chose was called The Lighter Side of Strong. I am sitting on the lighter side of strong, for the most part, climbing toward solution. Diminish some. Join me in my fight. Knowledge, details. Oh, don't feel sorry. Let me be patently clear. No pity sign displayed here. Save it for those most deserving. Heavier hit, less mobile, cascading in need. I am captive in your care, your concern, your love, and your voices of "atta girl." That is all I need. Well, that, and eat greens, juice, exercise, smile, hug a lot, spread joy, embrace the unembraceable. When I miss the lighter side of strong, gently nudge me. I know better, while I'm in your gentle care, wrapped in your concern, and catching the steadiness of your love, I feel lighter and lighter and strong. God bless you.
Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
You
for the
are
opportunity.
brilliant and such an inspiration.
Thank you so much.
I thank you so much for being here today,
Thank
just to share with all of us out here.
Thank you.
And we wish you much success.
Thank
We
you.
know that you are going to achieve so much.
Well,
it has not stopped here.
No, it isn't. And go on my website.
Yeah, tell us your website.
Guess what the name is? BlueRiverApples.com.
BlueRiverApple.com. Wonderful.
Check in with me and Dangle and Dot.
And Dangle and Dot.
Yeah, and
Ex-
yeah.
And then next year, you're going to have a new, it's going to just start sparking, right?
It is. It can. It can for you too.
Absolutely.
Raise those
If
arms.
it can happen for her,
I am
it
here.
can happen for you.
Yeah, it can.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nancy.
Thank
and
you,
thank you
Sam.
for joining us on The Golden Blend. I look forward to our new guest next week. And again, thank you to Nancy Nelson.
Thank you. God bless.